Quantum healing, the future of medicine.
Greetings, everybody. Well, here I am doing the final episode. It has taken months and months for me to finally get to this final one. Why? Why did it take so long? I wanted to do a conclusion for this episode because we're talking about the quantum, which is really just universal energy, and this information is so vast. It's as vast as the universe is and beyond. So how can we take that information and pull it into just a tiny few episodes to explain a little bit about what is opening up for all of us, especially in the healing world? So that is my focus in this lifetime, is to reignite natural healing, but in a very, very advanced form, and bringing very ancient knowledge that we've always had on the planet and obviously in the universe, but to reignite it onto the planet Earth so that we can all make different choices on how we want to heal our bodies, as where we've sort of been corralled in recent history, which actually I find quite appalling to see where medicine has taken us because of the lack of metaphysical knowledge in any kind of practice. You know, we talked about the paradigm of healing. It's body, mind, spirit, spirit being quantum. So there's no healing solution that can be completed if you're just doing body or just mind or just body, mind. The greatest part of it, of course, is the quantum. Without quantum, you wouldn't even have a physical body. So to be practicing medicine and science without the inclusion of the knowledge of metaphysics, for me, is absurd. However, this is the problem we find ourselves in, those of us that fall into imbalance and need healing, that we're very stuck with a system that is controlled by all the wrong things. It's controlled by government. It's controlled by very, very greedy, powerful people. It is controlled by drug companies. It is controlled by insurance companies. It is controlled by the doctors. It is controlled by, medical schools. All these processes that you and I have to turn to when we need it most, when we would like to fix ourselves. This is kind of what we have, and they don't seem to want to channel us anywhere else because of, I guess, money. So I think we have learned through these different episodes that there are completely other ways to go that are much more effective, much less hurtful to the human body, and able to get people back into balance again. So modern medicine, because really this is very modern, up until now, natural healing was used and known, and this has sort of been put aside for the few that would like to make lots and lots of money off the rest of us. So that was why I did the podcast. Just the pure frustration and what I'm hearing from everybody that I come in contact with. I think we're all fed up with this system and would like to see something else aspire in its place. And that's certainly where I'm going, and I'm certainly not the only one. So as time goes on and we start to see negativity drop away, we'll start to see much more positive manifestations of healing, how to do it, the techniques, and where people can turn to heal themselves. So I'm very excited about the pathway that it's going to be taken. That's why I named it, the original, the future of medicine. This is where we're going. The whole greedy paradigm that's been set up just for money and for the empowerment and enrichment of a few will be collapsing and going away. It just cannot exist in fourth or fifth dimension is where we're headed. So I was excited to do the podcast. It was difficult and very challenging to take such vast knowledge, put it into a little nutshell, but I think it's just a start. It's just a seed. I'm hoping that many people that listen to the podcasts will also be inspired to start their own healing and their own healing techniques. As we walk into the future, we will start to combine together much better in a system that can be really helpful to people. So carrying on with, where do we go from this direction with natural healing? I really want to give some advice at this point because I think we're all so frustrated, and especially with all the illnesses taking place and the mental illness that seems to be sort of encouraged in the world is, the theme of this episode was be unshakable. I'm starting to pick that up from many different sources. I mean, I have been trying to do this episode since the beginning of the year, and it seems every time I want to record it, we've got another explosion or implosion in the world that just rocking everybody and takes us off balance again, where a lot of us are trying to travel to the light and stay very positive and stay in balance and try to stay as well as we can. We've got another force on the other side that's really trying to knock you off your feet constantly. So this is our situation right now. We are in the beginning of the end times. And I say just the beginning because for a while this is going to be very, very rocky. And we're going to have to get through it, because what inspires me for sure is that we are moving into this incredible golden age, and that we have the honor and being given the privilege of working on its foundation, because all paradigms will shift in everything. People will be stepping up. You're going to see very powerful, positive people coming forward and setting up new paradigms on whatever their talents are. Some are multi-talented, some have one talent. It's irrelevant, because we're all going to work together. The light workers, the people that want to be positive and stay in the light and be fair and compassionate, are going to create brand new paradigms that people can join if they wish. Of course, we've talked about this choices. There's always choices: negative, positive, good, bad, greedy, generous. It's our choice. But for those of us that are pretty sure where we would like the paradigm to go, how we would like to be living on this planet and be in harmony with fourth and fifth dimension as we go into them, and that higher vibration of consciousness where things are just so much better and so much improved, then we will be together. We'll automatically see this happening. I think it's very interesting because one of the current things that I'm recording this actually on May 2nd of 2022. And of course, this first quarter of the year was something to behold, and really is giving us a direction on how this is all going to go down. And how do we get through it in the best way possible? We have to get through it. Many, many people will be leaving us, and we are already seeing that from what I've seen doing research. Deaths, which are, they calculate deaths every single year, which is normal because we have deaths and births. The deaths are 40% higher than normal. These numbers will get higher as well, because there will just be people not being able to withstand the high vibration, and other people just be making a choice not to be part of this. So I'm really talking to the people that see the wisdom. Maybe you don't know everything and all the details about what's coming up and where we're going and what pathway we're following here, but I think it's pretty obvious at this point that in order to stay on the right side, on the light side, and stay in that creative consciousness, that high, beautiful, loving consciousness, then we have to leave behind some things and ways of living, and people and family members. It's very painful for many of us to have to drop a lot of people down the way in order to make way for the new. So how can we encourage each other? I really think when I've always looked around, I've always seen people, everyone I've ever met has some really special talent. Some are multi-talented. Some become famous. Most people don't, and it's okay. It's not about the fame and how many people you're affecting. Trust me, those entities that are put in those positions of influencing countless people have had to go through trials and tribulations that I can pretty much assure you, you would not want to go through. Very, very rigid training in order to reach those heights where you're able to spread light and fairness and love to the whole world. It is no mean task and is not expected of everybody. And it doesn't mean to say that because you're not that person or you're not in that group of people that you have no effect. You have effect. Every single one of us has effect. The light that we radiate, the love that we radiate, it's so powerful, that light, that it affects your neighbors. If you never left your house and you just sat in your home and just radiated love as high vibration as you can, keeping your head as clear as you possibly can, it affects everybody around you. People that you meet, people that you walking by in a store, in a parking lot. If you're a teacher, it affects your students. It affects everyone in your perimeter in a positive way or a negative way. And we're focusing on affecting people positively as we move into the future. Don't take people's crap anymore. Hold your boundaries. If people are pushing their stuff onto you, the demons abound right now. Demons are attacking left and right. They're in total panic. Their time is up. However, don't think they're knocked out. They also have their power. So you have that challenge, but you don't have to accept that. You can accept and help everyone around you if you're just one individual to make a right choice someplace and have a positive effect on whoever you meet during the day. I've often seen, if I'm walking in a parking lot and someone is walking towards me, if you just smile at them, they will suddenly smile back. I don't know these people. That person doesn't know me. It's irrelevant. It's just a brief connection where I exuded happiness and love, and I got it back. Because that's how it works. Like attracts like. We need to turn our backs on the negative and those that we don't want to associate with anymore. And these kinds of systems that's been created that are creating so much pain and so much suffering amongst people for their own greed. Again, in the medical world is what I'm focused on. It's the proportion of really good high consciousness doctors, nurses, scientists is very, very limited. I hate to say that, but that is the truth. Most just go for the money and the greed and whatever that, yes sir, no sir, and just go because that's their career and that's what they've chosen to do, and a lot of them get quite rich off this. These are not people that we want to see in the future. These are people that we don't want to connect with. Do we need physicians? Absolutely. Do we need scientists? Absolutely. Do we need nurses and helpers all throughout the medical system? Of course we do. But we don't need the negative ones. We don't need those that are becoming one with the whole greed aspect of medicine and watch people suffer as a result. Those ones we don't need. So you're going to have to pick and choose who you go to and who you don't. That's the only way they'll be weeded out, is not to be making money anymore, and they will just basically go away, which is what they should be doing, is going away. It's always stunning to me that we hear of scientists. I mean, I actually knew, and I think I've mentioned it before on the podcast, where, this person turned to me in frustration and said, I just don't know what you're talking about. As far as I'm concerned, I am a scientist, and if I don't see it under the microscope, it doesn't exist. Honestly, that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. You have to be so unintelligent to think that just this tiny little planet in the entire universe, is everything, and everything we know is all on here. And then you don't even include the knowledge of metaphysics into anything that you are researching. Is so absurd that I honestly can't even go into it. It doesn't even warrant conversation. It is done. This is not the direction we're going to be going into. There's going to be unbelievable scientific knowledge on medicine that is going to be passed down to us as we go up in consciousness. And you should know that fourth and fifth dimension is much higher than where we are. Third dimension is really one level above animal. That's a problem. It's a very low consciousness level. Going up into fourth and fifth dimension is vastly different, although it's not even close to ultimately where we can travel. I mean, we're not limited to fourth and fifth dimension. There are people on this planet at this moment in time that are far beyond those dimensions. However, in general, this is where we're going, and people need to shift from third now to fourth.